YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, and guess what? I have another Total War Warhammer 2v2 for you. And this one is going to be a very good battle. On this side, we've got Tomb Kings and HeirofCarthage facing off against Lizardmen and von Karstein. Now, these were random picked factions for the players because this was part of a community game night that I held last night in my Discord. Make sure you join that if you want to. It is free, and the link is in the description. Folks, we are less than 500 subscribers away from a major milestone on my channel. That's 250,000 subscribers. If you want to be a part of it, hit that subscribe button now. Also, people have been finding Steam cards whenever they click the notification and come to the video early. So if you like getting free Steam wallet cash, then definitely worth your while. They will be on the videos from time to time. Let's check out these armies. We've got Cetra the Imperishable leading the Tomb Kings along with a couple of Ushabti with great bow. Their infantry consists of skeleton spearmen, and then they have a rather large cavalry component, about 3 Nehekara horsemen supported by a Lich Priest, Lore of Light that has a net, and then there are 3 skeleton horsemen archers. There's a couple of carrion also around. Now for HeirofCarthage, there are miners with blasting charges, dwarf warriors, hammerers, which is an interesting unit. There are a couple of thunderers, 3 in total actually. We have a runesmith, and then the Lord of HeirofCarthage, Ungrim Ironfist, the Slayer King. Now for the Lizardmen, they have some skink cohorts, some Saurus warriors. They have a skink priest, Lore of Beast, which is helping to summon a manticore. They've got Kroq on Grimlock, a feral carnosaur, and several Cold One spear riders. You can see here they're Saurus warriors with spears. The von Karstein has a main line of spearmen, a back line of graveguard, one of which is the Sternsmen, the rest of which are the great weapon variant. We have Vladdy von Daddy and his 2 ethereal girlfriends here apparently, and then a couple of fluffy puppy Vargulfs who are contending with the horse archers over here. Now this is going to be an interesting build. HeirofCarthage and the Tomb Kings are spread out very wide and are allowing the enemy to kind of crash in and probably blob up, and hopefully to their advantage. Kroq was trying to be held down by these Nehekara horsemen over here, but they might want to get out of here. There's a lot of Cold One spear riders coming. This whole area is getting Usep's desiccation, which is going to take away tons of melee attack and defense. So the Tomb Kings really hurting the Lizardmen over here. So anything that's in this fight is going to find themselves in bad shape. It is a pretty effective spell, so an interesting one to see. We've got Cetra the Imperishable attempting to crush the center of von Karstein, but those are unbreakable spear units. Never really a great trade. The net over here cast by the Lich Priest in order to start pulling down one of the Vargulfs, and it is being pretty effective right now. And the Thunderers and the Grudge Thrower, along with the Slayer King, just keeping their distance and trying to support from afar. The Hammerers are brought in as a secondary. This is probably a good idea so that they don't get charged or beaten to crap by monsters. You want to hold them in reserve and use them to their highest potential. There's a Salamander hunting pack in the background that already has a pretty decent number of kills here at 28. You can see there's more skinks out on this flank that haven't engaged in the battle yet. Some warriors with great weapons out here fighting the Cold One spear riders. Cold One spear riders have armor piercing, and they will be a pretty handy unit versus the dwarves, even though they are technically an anti-large unit. Still think they'll be rather useful. I see another Manticore summon here. Look at this Salamander hunting pack targeting the Hammerers, and that is a spectacular target for them. See, there's the Manticore, Grimlock and Kroq battling it out in the middle, along with Cetra. Cetra probably wanting to get away from this fight, as Kroq is kind of his worst nightmare. Cetra is anti-infantry, Kroq is anti-large. These Banshees are going to be a real problem. I don't believe that there is any magic weapon damage anywhere on the HeirofCarthage Tomb King side, so they will have to deal with those 2 ethereal heroes. Honestly, the best way to deal with them would be to kill the rest of the enemy army and let their leadership fall apart. But the only way that's going to happen is if you kill Vladdy, the Daddy von Karstein. Now, he's probably not being used to the best of his ability here up against Hammerers. So, and there's an Ushabti being summoned as well. So Daddy is going to be taking some serious damage in that fight. Over here, the Feral Carnosaur and the Kroq cutting their way through Nehekara horsemen and anything else living in the vicinity, while the hunting pack fires away. Probably causing a little bit of friendly damage, but still doing a lot of damage regardless. All the Thunderers have remained in the back, and despite the number of Cold One spear riders, there has not been a concentrated effort to get to the back lines, either by Kroq, the Scar Veteran, or the Cold One Spear Riders, and this was costing them big time, as these Thunderers, the longer they survive, the more damage they will output, and output damage they can very, very quickly to just about anything on the battlefield that is within their line of sight. So you can see there that they are cutting down the Cold One Spear Riders. Kroq and the Carnosaur will be at extreme danger, these units, and if Daddy gets left without support, it will be the same for him. So I think that the onus is on the Lizardmen von Karstein team here to get to those skirmishers. There are still some skeletal archers on horses back here, skeleton horse archers, if you will. Fair says it right. That could be used to block large units, like you can see here. Kroq knows that he needs to get back here, but if he comes to fight this unit, there's just going to be more shooting at him. So this is he needs more support than this. There's going to have to be a bigger commitment, or else this could cost them. So Kroq is paying a dear price right now. There are some Cold One Spear Riders, but they're really needed to push here. There are also great bows back here, so everything over here is being focus fire, so if it blobs up, the trade of that one Thunderer for the amount of damage that can be caused here definitely seems worth it for Carrick-Cadrin. Now there are a few dangerous units left for the Lizard von Karsto alliance here. That is going to be the Graveguard with great weapons. So you can see there is a Grudge Thrower in the background, and it is getting some very nice shots in this blob, being very effective. The Skink Priest did get a Flock of Doom Flock, whichever one it is. I'm sure whichever one I said first is the wrong one. Over here, the Feral Carnosaur was berserked and then, or rampaged and then driven off the battlefield. You can see the two Banshees using their ability to try and get to Cetra. I mean, and this is a good idea, but I almost feel like the Banshees may want to focus more on trying to tie down the gunners. Cetra can outrun them. And you can see here that the skeletal horse archers being put in place to keep the Banshees at bay so that the rest of the army can do its work properly. Old Daddy von Karstein survived the beating and is healing at a high rate, which is what von Karsteins do best, whether it be Daddy or Mommy von Karstein, Vlad or Isabella. I wonder what Isabella thinks about Vlad running around with a couple of hussy Banshees. I mean, isn't that going to get him in trouble when he goes home? You all tell me what you think. Anyway, it's been quite the battle so far, but the handguns. The Thunderers, thanks a lot, Warner, you always got me saying handguns now. So the Thunderers in the background are under assault here. A couple of Saurus Spearmen finally making the push, and this could be disastrous for Carrick-Cadrin. Also, Ungrim Iron Fist is in the fight of his life here against Kroq and quite a lot of other units, and he is completely outmatched, though he does do tremendous amounts of anti-large if he can stay on his feet. He attacks slowly, though. It's one of the downsides for dwarves. You can see him just getting ragdolled by basically everything, and it is quite bad for Ungrim at the moment. This is one of the reasons why, though he's anti-large, he's really quite bad against large, because he can't stay on his stinking feet and deliver a hit. You can see here he finally does, and pretty much KOs this Carnosaur very quickly. But now the infantry's going to move in him, and here comes Kroq. So despite having knocked down one Carnosaur, there's a very glitchy, much angrier Carnosaur. Did you guys see that? Holy crap, Grimlock's been into the forest rooms again, and the Warp Stone. Watch what you're feeding him, Kroq. So yeah, old Ungrim's going to find himself in a pretty rough place here. All it's going to take is perhaps a good tail whipping or something, and he will be out of the fight. And it was, yep, that's going to be the tail whipping. So down goes Ungrim, and Carrick-Cadrin is without their leader, while Vlad von Karstein is still quite alive. Cetra is still running around alive back here, and he has a Banshee on his tail. The other Banshee is over here fighting some regrouped dwarves. Let's take a look at the Thunderer situation, see whether any have survived. There are two of them that are in very good health over here, so this needs to be the point of focus. The Banshees would actually be a pretty good unit to attempt a chase with here and keep these things busy while the Cold One Spear Riders try to maneuver around to come in. There's another unit up here, and I think if we had the push of a Banshee here, Cold One Spear Riders, it would get more difficult for the dwarves to defend it, because if those Thunderers live, then it is GG to the von Karstein Lizard Alliance here. See another unit of zombies being summoned from the ground here. It's going to be a problem because they are unbreakable, do cause fear, so whatever units are left will suffer from that. Though the Tomb Kings don't have to worry too much about fear. It does lower their leadership and I guess could cause them to crumble, but outside of that, they can't rout. See the Banshee here being let into some Longbeards and Spearmen. These would be good units. The Longbeards can't terror out, and so they should be able to theoretically keep the Banshee busy for quite a while. These Skeleton Warriors off the summon, sorry I said zombies earlier, were not immediately put into battle, and this is not the best position for these Thunderers. There's a little bit of terrain in between them and their target. You Shabti with Great Bow still have ammunition, and it looks like they are trying to target Vlad, but there are too many friendly large units in the vicinity. The Lich Priest Lore of Life is being cut down by the combined Undead and Lizard forces near him, and Vladdy is also working on that, and he will be quite good at cutting down a Lich Priest based on his duelist capabilities. I don't actually know if it gives him the duelist ability, but I think he would be good at it regardless, even though he's a spellcaster. He's kind of like Sigvald if he was a spellcaster, which kind of makes you think, wow, Sigvald sucks, because you can kind of get the same thing with Vlad, except he heals faster and has spells, so I don't know how magnificent Sigvald is feeling while I'm discussing this, but probably less than. Thunder is alive, Cetra alive. This is pretty bad news for the vampires. These Banshees still important units here, but their leadership is really their Achilles heel. And if you don't have the magic to deal with them, if you can deal with their leadership, then they kind of fall apart on their own. So right now, Vlad is going to be the key target for the Dwarvo Tomb King alliance here. The Deserts and the Dawi combining together. See Vladdy getting grounded there. And the Shabti with Great Bow probably gonna come in and help lead some attacks as well. You can see they're trying to keep the Banshee busy. We've got a spell, Rune of Negation. So this is actually really, really good. The Dwarf player buffing up these Shabti right now, and if Cetra gets in here, it should impact him too, but he is being hit pretty bad here too. The Blessed Blade of Kroq. Actually, I think that's hurting anything he hits, if I see it right. Yeah, oh yeah. So it's hitting Vlad, and Vlad is in big trouble here. And the Vampire Daddy is going to find himself back in the coffin as he gets torn apart by all kinds of different constructs. And this is going to leave a gaping hole in the leadership of anything that's left, namely these Banshees. Let's go ahead and take a look at that here. This one, though, has very solid leadership still. Could cause a tremendous amount of damage if given the opportunity. But this Banshee over here is struggling with leadership because it's probably getting an attack in the back penalty. And then if it does get shot by the Thunderers, that will be a thing. And then here's going to come a charge from Cetra. So basically the Banshee, I believe it's 80% physical resistance it gets because of Ethereal. So again, it's the leadership that you have to drop. Look at this Graveyard falling apart over here because of leadership. Stern's been falling apart because of leadership. The two Banshees trying desperately to support each other. And this is what they should do at this point. They're going to need to be near each other, but these single unit models can sometimes suffer big leadership penalties because they'll be fighting a huge fight at the end, completely surrounded, so they get the attack in the back penalty, and then army losses and all kinds of other things can mount, plus the under fire penalty that may be applied here too into leadership. There are many penalties. You can see that the Banshees are becoming debilitated. Now, they are going to get hit by a Flock of Doom. So that Skinky Priest still doing his thing. Don't know exactly where he was at. I haven't seen him in a while. Where is that skink? Oh, he's back here. The Skink Priest sneaking in and getting a little bit of damage done. That's a good call, but it's too late to save one of the Banshees who's now crumbling pretty significantly. The other Banshee's too far away to support leadership. They would have to kind of stay together to have any hope. They do cause good armor-piercing damage. Their attacks are just a little bit slow. It's one of the downsides, and it looks like this other Banshee is going to move over here. They need to support each other for sure to try and prevent crumbling, but they're still up against some long odds. Chasing Cetra isn't going to cut it at this point, just not going to catch him, using Slippery or not. It's not going to prevent Cetra from doing stuff like this where he turns around, crushes the leadership of the Banshee, and it's going to end up being a victory for the Tomb Kings and Karak Kadrin in an epic 2v2 that I really enjoyed here. Lots of good action from the Thunderers and from the Tomb Kings, but all that early action, the Vampires and the Lizardmen plowing in, causing massive damage early, but those big spread out armies that are all over the battlefield, that's the risk of those, is that if you get in, you may start to clean up quickly, but if you take too much damage doing it, you'll find yourself with either the wrong forces or not enough forces to finish the battle. So it's something to be aware of as you go into those. And really appreciate Encalagon, however you say that, and Sterius for joining in the game night, as well as Volta. And I think Louis Pasteur is our own Wicked here. So thank you all for playing the game and joining in the community game night. I actually have one more from the 2v2 community game night, so keep an eye out for that. It will be coming soon. Like I said, watch out for those Steam wallet codes in the chat, and I will either deliver those at nighttime, my time, or morning time, my time. That way, they're kind of like the two different possibilities. They could be there about 12 hours apart, hopefully giving people around the world a better chance of getting that. Though I may kind of take that further and maybe move 6 hours ahead of both of those so that, again, it gives people opportunity all throughout the world. I'll continue to give those away up and through us hitting the 250,000 subscribers, so keep an eye out for that. Probably 1 or 2 a week that I'll be chucking out there as the funds allow. Thank you all for the support. I will see you back soon with some more content. HeirofCarthage signing out for now.